because we need to see the struggle.
Yes.
That's the problem sometimes that I have with the projections, even on social media, of love.
Yes. Going back to what we were talking about. Yeah.
But dude, is that stop showing me sunshine, because a flower needs sunshine and rain to grow. Do you understand what I'm saying?
For sure.
So then if you're not going to show me the rain, I don't want to just see sunshine. I'd rather not see anything.
Because no one buys it anyway. We all know.
You'd be surprised.
Well, no, sorry, you're right. I think maybe that's the problem, is that I mean, I've been that guy, like, for sure, in terms of relationship, and being like, way, I'm like living the dream, and then having arguments in the evening, being like, I don't know, what's that supposed to represent? Posting that
A projection.
And the thing is, it's true in the moment, but then it's like, well, oh man, it's the nature of, I think that's what social media has become, or what it is that it forces you to bring out, to display. It's like if we could, on call, press a button to receive every chemical reaction, every pleasurable chemical reaction on tap, like a morphine drip. You could just bang that button all day long. That's what our phones are, directly. And I think, like, anything that but then it's interesting to me that even though you know it isn't the truth, something about, say in that case, a relationship, right? Say someone's having a difficult time in a relationship, but they're still posting things, being like, hey, couple goals and da-da-da-da. Those things, like, what's interesting is that I don't know if that's one trying to delude themselves into making that reality by saying it, by being like, things are fine.
Yeah, bare manifestors.
Everything's fine. Everything's great. Our relationship's beautiful. We love each other. I don't know if it's that, or if it's that the perception from others that that's the truth is enough for people.
Can I ask you a question?
Please do.
Every morning, does the sun announce itself? No, I'm just asking.
I ain't never heard it.
Is there heralds and trumpets?
I never heard it.
Okay.
If it does.
At night time, does the moon play a concerto?
Not one I've heard.
The stars.
Yeah. The stars, yeah.
When they come into form and to being in the night sky, do you hear any intro music?
Not yet.
Okay. Because the basis of what they are is they do what they do. When love is what it's supposed to be, the example is louder than any introduction.
To that point, you watched Malcolm and Marie yesterday, didn't you? Because I begged you to watch Malcolm and Marie.
Bro.
Because I watched it and couldn't sleep.
Brother.
What do you think?
Oh my gosh. Ay. So, guys, if you haven't watched Malcolm and Marie, get on Netflix.
Zendaya, John David Washington.
Dude, can I first say, Zendaya and John David Washington, wow. Yeah. Also, Labyrinth, God bless you.
God bless him. Oh, I forgot it was Labyrinth from the music.
Brother,
yeah.
The first thing I look for.
Oh, shit.
And the reason I say that, Lucas, is because, and we were talking about this morning, the selection was so smooth.
Slick, bro.
And created a sophistication which allowed it to lose none of its edge.
Yeah.
It made sense.
How did I forget about the soundtrack, bro?
Because you're an actor and you were really taking apart the pieces of the characters. You understand what I'm saying? And this is why I think Our Balance is so cool. Because the music for me shaped how the scene felt, how it flowed, its transition, how it emoted to me. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's very hard to have what I call a buffet of like 5 different national cuisines and it makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
It still tastes good,
Brother.
but them flavors are bad contradictory.
Super contradictory. But that's how you realize the intention of what was trying to be put across was amazing. What do you want to talk about first? Because
I don't even know, man. I just knew that I knew that you need to see it, because I think a lot of what we speak about, what we in our like general conversations, that authenticity, sincerity within relationships, and universally, I don't just mean like in love, but friendships and family and relationship with whatever you believe in the world, right?
Yeah.
And for me, like the nuances in that film of firstly the initial build up of she's trying to protect him from the beginning, from the night they're gonna have, by knowing she's annoyed, but saying nothing good. There's a line where she goes, nothing good will come if we talk about this tonight.
From this conversation.
So I'm going to bed.
100%.
And my guy,
he wanted it.
And I will throw my hands in the air and say, I've been that guy.
Of course you have. We
I've
all
been
have.
that guy.
If you're
What's
a
wrong?
creative,
What's wrong?
If
What's
you're
wrong?
a creative, you've been that guy.
But even if you're deeply, deeply in love with someone, and you think that you can, and you're like a solution-oriented person, you think that bringing out all the issues, you have the capacity to fix them in the moment. And sometimes what's necessary is a little bit of time, a little bit of reflection, let everyone get their ducks in a row and then discuss. Whereas I know I personally can, and it feels to me that the character in the film is of the personality type to immediately go, let's fix it now, let's have it now, let's talk about it right now, and then we'll go to sleep, and then we'll wake up and everything perfect. Rather than sitting in it and being like, this is uncomfortable, but if we can shoulder the discomfort, we're better off for it in the morning.
Do you remember the first message I sent you in my little cluster of messages when I started watching it?
What did it say again?
I'm 22 minutes in.
Yes.
And I made a very bold statement to you in that message, because I felt 22 minutes in, I was able to understand the basis of the journey. And the thing that made me happy was that as the film kept going on, and by the way, guys, I haven't even finished it. There was a scene that happened.
Paused it and
Oh,
said,
brother.
now I'm done.
I got to 20 minutes for the end, Jam. And this particular scene happened, bro. I was finished. Man, drop the controls. Like, ah!
He sent me a voice like, I'm done, bro. I'm done. Why have you done this?
Jam. Finitoed. Done. Later. Nyeh. Gone. Bye-bye. Bro, I was like...
Bedtime.
I was done. Jam. Now, listen, this might have to be a two-parter, bro.
Yeah,
because I got bare stuff to talk about.
37 minutes, yeah.
Yeah,
Let's bang out.
don't worry about that.
Yeah, don't worry about that, bro.
Hey, so let me break this down. Okay, cool. No. Because it was so deep. He undervalued her substance and overplayed her position or station. Let me break that down. You can see, based on how he was, who he was, and then when she started to tell us about his growing up, I very quickly assimilated. Okay, so, and she made a thing. She made a reference to it as well. This is a guy that likes to compartmentalize everything. He likes things in their box. Yeah. Now, that was cool to me and very disturbing to me, because I like things in their box as well.
Right.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Now, where he'd missed it was, and this was the bit that made me most uncomfortable. He was in celebration because he had obviously a good night. And because he'd had a good night, he was just so caught up with everything that was going on within him. And then he tries to be intimate with her.
Yeah. Oh, when she's making the mac and cheese.
Jam. I sat there and her face, I was just like, whoa. I was like, this is a good thing he can't see her face. Yeah. Because that's the kind of thing that'll make a man cry and be like, you know what? Do you know what? She was so detached from the moment. And the thing that was so powerful was that how desensitized he was to her detachment.
He was so gassed on himself in that moment that he couldn't even read the situation. Yeah.
You know what the deep thing is, Lucas? At that point, I said, what she doesn't see is that he has made her the other half of his consciousness. So everybody he thanked lived outside of his cognitive consciousness. So to him, thanking her would be like thanking himself. Weird.
Yeah.
That's because he had her based on what he thinks she is to him. But yet never realized in that first initial rant, in the first sections of the film, she's giving him all the information that will balance out his crazy. Very calmly.
Yeah.
Just sliding it in there as he's going in, talking about stuff. Yeah, but it's this, da-da-da. And he's like, oh yeah. And it's da-da-da-da-da. Oh yeah. So what he'd done was he'd made the love of his life his significant other.
Right.
You can't do that because then you're asking something that, based on even her background and what she'd been through, something lesser than you to be greater than you.
Explain that. Elaborate on that one, because I think a lot of people are going to be like, wait, but my significant other,
dude. He was using her as the validation to make him feel like he is.
Yes.
You can't do that. She can't do that. She doesn't have the capacity to do that.
Does anyone? For anyone?
You can't, no. Because it's what I spoke about with the cars.
Yeah.
I can't service you. I can understand you. I can push you to purpose.
Yeah.
Because we have the same functions and dynamics, but I can't get you there. So what he missed was that the reason he was so amazing to her is because of the example he showed through love. And he called her this. When they had the scene by the bath,
yes,
he goes, the biggest problem you have is that you can't believe that someone just sits here and loves you. You are the love of my life. Boom. Because when she's the love of your life, then she becomes the goal. And the goal becomes you showing the example of love, joy, peace, patience through suffering, meekness, gentleness, goodness, self-control. You become the example of the nature of what she wants to become, rather than she needing to be what you need to get you over. And because he had her in his head as his significant other, he missed her substance. Because what she was able to show him, why he should have allowed her to play that role, he never saw. And the minute he stepped out of his projection of her, he saw the reality of her, bro.
Yeah. What is so interesting about what you're saying?
Killed me, dude. That's why I had to put the, I was just like, how many of us are living in the projection of the person we're with or we want to be with, and every day or every week you get disappointed because they cannot meet your expectations because you need them as the other part of your significance?
Because I think the narrative that we've grown up with and that Disney films often provide is that you take your broken parts and their broken parts and you'll make a whole. No, you take your broken parts and their broken parts. You've got two broken parts.
Broke.
Fix yourself.
Broke can't fix broke.
Broke can't fix broke. What my traumas and your traumas combined is going to solve our collective traumas.
It's your ability to fix,
is it?
brother. But that's what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
And that's why even what you were talking about with stuff on the visual nature of what we have in this time and the world that surrounds us is that we see broke, knowing that it can't fix us, but we still subscribe to it. So, dude, unless we start developing the nature we need to create the example that's going to create legacy, then we're constantly going to fall prey into these situations where you find people enduring moments rather than thriving. Because the basis of what she was saying, she just wanted to do something together.
Yeah.
She wasn't trying to say, I want to co-direct, I want to be the DOP, I want to be the... And had he had meant it, if he had just made her an extra and meant it, she would have been cool. Because all she wanted in that moment was for her substance to be valued. Dude, it taught me so much.
Oh, brother.
like, and we talk all the time. We're very open and stuff. So, you know, we don't hide stuff from each other.
Yeah.
And what I was able to see in that moment was the magnifying glass.
Yeah.
Because when he walked out of the room, I got to stay in the room.
Yeah. I felt very confronted by that film.
Dude, when we walk out of the room, we don't see what's still happening in the room.
Yeah.
When I looked at her, I was just like, so that's what happens. And in our heads, we make a whole other construct of scenarios. Oh, she in there smirking, laughing to herself. She in there texting her friend like, I got him. She ain't in there doing that. Do you know one of the things that and I'm gonna have a real man moment for a second. And I can't say how I said it to myself, but just know I bust out laughing. So you know they get through like the second fight, yeah?
Right. Post mac and cheese?
Right, post mac and cheese.
Yeah.
And man has just read the review.
Yeah.
She's laying on the sofa and whatever, and then they're now becoming friendly again. And she pushes him off the sofa, he's on the floor, and then the love, you can just feel the love coming to scene. And then God bless Lab, man just brings in the vibes. And you're like, oh, you're like, oh. And then he needs to go to the toilet.
Yes. And in the space between when he's gone and comes
back. Listen to me. Let me tell you when I knew.
If you haven't seen this film, I'm sorry.
Listen,
pause it. Pause it when we mention Malcolm Marie, watch it and then come back.
Bro, listen. When man got up, she laid there, went, oh, this don't feel right. I'm like, brother, what you think gonna happen ain't gonna happen, mate. Lucas! And then the tear dropped and I was like, it really ain't gonna happen. And then the next point, my brain's like, I can't wait to see his reaction when he comes up, because it doesn't even need to be verbalized.
But he thought he got off light, bro. He thought that minor acknowledgement of what happened was enough to say, I see what I did wrong. Let's carry on and get back into the groove of the success I want to celebrate.
It had been in the past.
That's it.
You don't go to the old playbook unless it's tried and proven, my dude.
Mm-hmm.
He played the song. Kind of didn't work. Tried the next thing, going and giving her the speech. Still didn't work. So he was going to his go-to place to remedy the situation. What he hadn't accounted for, she had reached breaking point. Which meant that he needed to confront what he wasn't really ready to. And I think the other thing that scared him was that in his mind, he couldn't detach the fact that she was her past.
Yes.
But yet, when she spoke to him about what he puts on, the masks he puts on, and who he really is, he turned into a little boy on that camera.
Oh, brother.
You could not believe it. Would, dude, watching, you could see that everything she was saying was going, like, just going straight through him. And he couldn't believe that she understood him and had seen what he had thought he'd successfully hidden from so many more people that were so much more advanced intellectually and in life than
by his
her.
perception. Yeah.
Because she, in the compartments of his life, was made in his world for a job. And he couldn't see her outside of that. Which meant that she was consistently trying to show him the substance. Sorry, I cut you a couple of times.
No, you didn't, bro. I was just gassed in the analysis because that's why I wanted you to see it, because I felt a lot of what you were saying, but you articulated in a way that is very precise, and it's interesting that you felt as confronted by it as I did, because
uncomfortable,
bro.
Uncomfortable.
I didn't like some of the reflections I was seeing in
Lucas.
there. And not that what I think it does so beautifully is that you can take a lot of elements of anyone's relationship out of context and it can seem one way. But the reality of the nuance of when you have an argument with someone that you love is that you are trying to hurt them You're trying to hurt. You're a kid and you play fight with your brother. You want to hurt him, bro. You want to hurt him bad.
Especially when he catches you by accident.
He catches you.
You don't think it's an accident.
You know it's an accident. You want to hurt him.
Yeah.
But still you love him.
Yeah.
And there's still there's the overarching element of that, okay, I love you, so I can't destroy you. Yeah. But right now I need to hurt you. That's the same dynamic as when we have arguments with our significant other, to use the colloquial term. Is that I love you, so how far can I push it where you'll still allow me in? And that's a very dangerous space to occupy. And it's very unhealthy and very toxic and universal. And all those things are true.
Which is why the other person cannot be your significant other.
Yeah.
Because you need that person to absorb what you can't.
Yeah.
Consistently, continually, on purpose, volunteering. And you can't, because we're limited and we're finite. So when I understand you as the love of my life, then to create that which is perfect becomes a goal, which doesn't require you to give me what I promised to give you. That's the basis of love, Lucas. It's unconditional. Listen, my parents been together for 40 years. When we do their next big anniversary, yeah, if any of them get up and go, we've been married again for 45 years happily, I'll be like, Mum and Dad, listen, I love you both of you. Ain't no one do nothing for 45 years and be happy every day of their life for it. You crazy. No, bro.
You might be consistent.
Super consistent.
But you might not have been happy.
Because the discipline in the endurance lets you know, for as long as we've all been on this earth, we've had spring, summer, autumn, winter. There's never been a year where nature's given us a little update and gone, hi guys, this year there's going to be a little change. We're going to have autumn. We're going to be then preceded by spring. There's going to be some winter and then there's some summer. All right? So just want to let you know, be great. No. But you understand what I'm saying? But yet we think, we think that we can then create a system where we control the weathering.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
We don't. So what you have to do is be in a place where you understand the nature of what's around you and what you need to do to be able to, and I keep saying this word, not survive, but thrive, because I think relationship is an individual pursuit within a corporate environment. I can't lose me if I know that I have 4 identifications that are completely unique to me. Then I have a purpose and I have a plan. So then how can I live the majority of my life on my own? I meet you, and then all of a sudden I have to lose me to find us.
But I also think that part of that comes from people feeling the need to insert themselves into predetermined ideas of what their role in the relationship is.
Boom.
Like the amount of men and friends I know who have been seeing girls or like been with partners and feel pressured. And this is a conversation that's very rarely had because there's no real space for it. Feel pressured that some of these men don't want to have sex all the time. I'm going to put it plainly, right?
Okay.
Not everyone does.
Yeah.
I imagine most people don't. And I had this conversation with a friend yesterday, like the pressure some people feel because you're the man.
Yeah.
And growing up under the society we do, that's very gender rolled in those specific ways, like it tells you that you're the dude, you better go out and sleep with some ladies. And I think a lot of people are like, I don't really feel like that. I don't feel that's who I want to be, but the pressure's there their entire lives through media and through every element of our society. I think that when it comes to those parts of relationship, and they feel pressure to be that guy, there's a disparity between the relationship they're trying to enter and what their body is telling them.
Empty.
That's it. It serves no one. Those predetermined roles serve no one. And
can I be real?
Please.
On the basis that this is a good place to interject.
For sure, brother.
the basis in terms of us as men, we have the visual sense. We have the visual sense where something feels good to us, and then we have the intrinsic detection where you're touched within. Now, when you have a moment of complete intimacy, as we're talking about, that's not actually a natural thing.
Right. In terms of
we connect.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
In terms of in natural action.
But what's happening is in a space far beyond the comprehensible.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
So when you've desensitized that which is greater than into something that is just an action, all actions have a motive behind them. The action of what we're talking about, the motive in its first construct was life. Life, Lucas. When you desensitize yourself to life, what are you emboldening? I'm asking, what are you emboldening?
Death. Death.
So can you see? Yeah, now it's starting to click. I lie. That's why it's so important that sometimes real intimacy is the ability to connect here on the mediatory level. The soul is the mind, the will, and the emotion. And if you're a tripartite being in terms of you live in a body, you are a spirit, and you have a soul, then a mediator is a person. Like in this room, if I was the mediator, I would be passing messages between you and Jam because you don't have the ability to communicate individually. And that's the issue, is that so many times, because like we say, as men, we sometimes get caught up in the projection of who we need to be, that we can't be completely honest with who we are and where we are.
Yes.
That then means the examples we've been shown, you're looking for relief when you need release.
Because the current model clearly isn't serving anyone. Well, it's serving some people. It's serving some people, and it's not difficult to work out who in society that is. I think I feel positive about, and I'm talking, especially I'm talking gender equality, I'm talking masculinity, and I'm talking toxic masculinity. Like, I'm really hopeful about this young generation of people, because like they're calling bullshit on everything, man.
They're the information generation. I expect them to.
Yeah, 100%.
They can check. 100%. They can fact check in a minute.
And I think it's all falling away, man. The old world's dying slowly, but the death isn't going to be easy, and it ain't going to be. It's kind of like we spoke about the undoing of the 400 years undoing of racial inequality. This ain't gonna happen overnight, and it ain't gonna be without blood loss. Like, but I'm incredibly optimistic, man, about like where the world's headed. Actually, in general, I think there's a lot of things over the last like 4 years that have like bubbled to the surface. They were always there, man. Yeah. Always there. Yeah. That had no one was willing to, like, let's say this is kind of broader thing, maybe we'll cut it out, maybe it won't be relevant, but like, let's say under Obama, right? I'm talking in the last 4 years, I'm talking about, I suppose, what's been brought out from Trump, the overt nature of that reality. Those things were present under Obama.
100.
They were just as present under Obama.
Of course they were.
We just like the idea of a black man being at the top of the castle, aesthetically. But what that means on a literal level, it doesn't really make a big difference for the people that live in day to day. So I think perhaps as awful as it has been for many people, Trump was a necessary thing to happen in order for the conversations that needed to happen to create the climate that was so extreme and so unbearably in people's faces that they had to react. There had to be reaction. Like the perfect storm, and by that I mean the terrible nightmare of last summer that was COVID and the George Floyd murder and under a Trump government. All those things, it's not coincidence they happen all together. I think it's people were done being lied to and told that the way and kind of like the reason I'm bringing this up is I think it ties into what we're saying about filling the role. Like, is it filling the role as a consumer, filling the role as a number? You
100%.
go to work, you are this man in this relationship, you're this woman in this relationship, and you are treated this way.
Yeah.
People that hurts people.
For sure.
And they're done with it.
For sure.
And I think that's a beautiful thing.
I'll also add to that we all needed some time out. And first of all, I just want to just send love and thoughts to everybody.
Yeah.
That may be listening and has somehow found a way to endure what this last year and a bit has been, because it's so. I mean, I'd like to think, Lucas, that we're quite fluid.
Yeah.
And, you know, we can abide in most things. And there were quite a few times when we were just like, okay, cool, this is a bit crazy. So I can't imagine what it would be like for people that may be in environments that were already hard, that were losing jobs and all kinds of adverse situations. But I massively believe that the process was necessary because we all needed to simplify. And my biggest thing is that in the pursuit of optimism and the coming Liberation Day that is being banded as June the 21st.
Yeah.
I'm
skeptical.
I hope that many of us will re-enter the less restricted world that we've been obstructed from with more balance. Understanding that it is not about going to the extreme, which quite a few people will, because that's the nature. That when you've been denied something for as long as you have, that the minute someone's like, go on then, you go crazy. Dude.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that what we're trying to do in our drive to really kind of create that awareness of self is the most important thing. Because there's going to be times like when you need to be able to know that you need to just step aside and step away. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
And that we continue doing the things that we're doing. Like, I've seen so many of my neighbors out running and just walking.
Yeah.
And the first couple of weeks, you could see that they were miserable doing it. But as they kept the repetition, the habit started to shape something quite cool that was attaching itself to their mentality. And I'm seeing little chinks of different parts and elements of their character changing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Completely.
Because the reality is, I've learned that, and I think they're trying to do the best that they can. Like, I really don't have too much. I'm not too much finger pointing, because I kind of like, if you don't get it, government, people, Lucas. Listen, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
The world is going to be the world.
Yeah.
There's nothing new under the sun, Lucas.
But this is one of the interesting things I always find. Like, I feel like I start every sentence with "this is interesting." I'm sure it's not, but is that like being quite empathetic?
Yeah,
can allow you to be unbelievably forgiving, because you kind of, and maybe too much to some degree, and maybe in my case, because you get everyone's flaws. You're kind of like, you're just a person. Of course you fucked up. Of course you did. You weren't gonna do it right. But
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Since the foundations of democracy and government, how often have they messed up? No.
Well, there was
Lucas. well, on day one there was the. Thank you, my bro. Thank you. Question: on all the data we received, and God bless the medicals and the panelists and the head of the health service and all them those, because They were on tour, bruv.
Brother.
In the first 2 months of that lockdown, every night they were out, bruv.
Brother.
It was a
Man,
repeat
we're
performance.
doing the show,
and
bruv.
listen, the set kept changing. That's why I was shocked. I was like, these man, they don't rehearse a new show.
We got a new script. What? Let me know.
Lucas. So when I know that you're scrambling, with all due respect, then I'm not anchoring in what you're saying.
Yeah.
And that was the problem most people had. That they came out, said what they said, and everybody went, oh, great.
Yeah.
And then the next day it was something new, and then everybody got to the point where was like, I don't know if we can believe what you man are saying. So I got to the point where I was just like, so you don't know either.
Yeah.
All good.
Yeah.
So then this is a me thing. Lucas.
For real though, for real.
So when it became about a me thing, I traded calm for peace.
Yeah. Yes.
Happiness for joy.
Yeah.
Because I realized you who's in charge of my everyday environment, you're not giving me information that's allowing me to find center and peace. So then if my environment is ground level, my mentals is the middle floor, my spirit's the penthouse, I was like, I tell you what, I'm going to just take the third floor and just have reception call up when everything's crisp.
Yeah.
Because the bird's eye view from up here, I'm nice. Lucas, I clicked and collected. I had my heavenly storehouse come and drop the thing, and I looked over the back.
Got Disney Plus, said cool.
Luke's, listen, bro. And it became very, very simple to me very quickly.
Yeah, I hear that.
Because what I needed to do was self-generate rather than get involved in energy transference, because the world will be the world. So it will try to maintain its systems and constructs. So I have to be able to be fluid within an ever-changing system that actually, by and large, remains the same.
Yeah.
So then that's not about you. It is holistically about me. Who do I want to be? What do I want to become? What's the reason? That's why coming out of this process, I'm more ready than ever, because I now get that what will help the young people and the generation that we're dealing with insulate themselves. What's your gift? How's it going to complement your purpose? And do you know your reason?
And don't ever underestimate the young people. Good Lord.
Dude.
You know, I found the other day that John Lewis was 25 when he organised the Washington March. My mum was 25.
Bruv. What's that? We got Greta Thunberg at 15 sailing around the world, my bro.
Trust me.
And the marches we had in London.
Yes. Organised by 18, 19-year-olds. Brother.
Dude. And just a little shout out to Debbie Yaboa and some of the other innovative, amazing young people over at Cambridge University that are going into an establishment, not in a negative format, but through innovation and through clarity of vision, are creating a new basis of perception. We spoke about it. It's now time to be strategic, not emotional.
Yeah. Yes.
Strategic. Because emotion will create noise. Strategy implements change. Emotion will make noise.
Tell them again.
Strategy is what implements and complements change.
Yeah.
And so I think it's that thing where we first must get to grips with our inward parts. Because once you're good, then my dad always said to me, experience is the greatest deterrent to any argument.
My man knows.
He knows that because his significant other isn't placed in the thing that looks like him and shares the same parts as him. Yeah. So then he realizes that through experience, if he can somehow take noise out of a situation, then where he is and what he's able to do is use experience to keep the circumstantial temporary away and then go hide in something more permanent. Find an answer, come back, show an example, grow together.
I think that's us, bro.
100%.
I think we're good. We're good. We're good. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you for listening to Spill, a podcast by Think Eden Media. God bless you. Big
love you guys, man.
Take care, y'all.
Have a great week.
See you on the next one.
Later.
Love. Love you, bro.
Love you too, man.